Yo, no, come on, we'll start properly.
Yo!
Welcome back to the Unlucky Specialists.
Hired 18. Double digits killing
Is it?
So last week was 17.
Do you know what? It's funny how one of us forgets
Every week. Without fail.
which one we're on. Oh, I'm still on college stuff here. Oops, let me just...
You're gay. So Jared has a lovely singular topic for us to talk about.
I decided that maybe we should just talk about one thing every week so we're not jumping from things too often. And we actually have time to talk about
Our
one
feelings,
thing.
like,
What?
and be gay and shit. I mean, yeah.
Dude, that's so sugar gay. Sugar gay? Sorry, I need... Ugh, fuck me. Ah, I'm drinking tea and I put sugar in it. It's the worst thing ever.
Retarded.
I'm actually... I don't know why I bothered.
No.
Anyway, I wanted to talk about faith. Faith, faith, not Fate. There is a very distinct difference.
Yeah, one has...
The faith in terms of like what you believe in, what kind of perceptions you would follow.
Like the big man upstairs and
Stuff
all.
like, well, yeah, not just that, but that is like the big part of it.
Yeah.
Like, kind of more so of like, people nowadays believe more in products. And
Shout out to the top camera though.
Heyo!
If it's still recording,
It is recording now, but it will die soon enough.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you can see the red light. That's what we need in our life.
you'll have us for a bit up there, I'd say. Hi. Probably not much.
No.
'Cause
Anyway.
that's effort. So yeah, in the dictionary, faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. I like how they have it, like they say something.
Yeah.
It's not just about someone or like a god, because
A divinity is that what they're
I was
called?
actually watching a video today. I wouldn't watch him. I don't follow him or anything, but it came up when I suggested and I said I'd watch it. Linus Tech Tips
Yeah.
was about he was on about Apple and the 10s
Mm.
Max or whatever, the stuff like that.
They have the iPhone X, orange, blue, and every other.
But that's the
form
thing,
of
right?
it.
It's actually called 10, and so many people call it X, and that was one of the things he was giving out. It was like, they've tried with Roman numerals before. They got as far as the 3. Oh, I forgot to put the key out the door.
So they tried
Shuffle
with
around,
Roman
yeah.
numerals before, and I don't know how to do this solo because this isn't my style. So I'm very sorry, as you're all stuck with me for 30 seconds. If you listen carefully, you'll probably hear new news out in the background. No. Fuck's sake, Jared. Bye, camera. So the top camera just died and he's not here to see it. But that's okay. We'll continue with the little one. Top camera just died.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So anyway, right. Sorry for that really shit 50 minutes of me just waffling nonsense.
Yeah, so anyway, he was on about the...
That was so bad timing because your point, I had nothing to say about it because you didn't even finish your point. like
So anyway, basically he was giving out about the new iPhone 10s Max and shit like that, because they brought out the 10 last year, and he was saying, you know, normally you see one or two little differences when they bring out these newer type of model things. And he said, but this one is the exact same. It's just literally the exact same.
Except for it doesn't charge properly.
Yeah, that is another thing that Unbox Therapy discovered, even though so many people were saying about it anyway, but because he's such a big platform, that's how a lot of people found out. But anyway,
Completely off the topic we're trying to talk
I know,
about.
right? What I'm getting to is he was talking about how even by the end of the video he was like, but at the end of the day it's Apple, and so many people are still going to go buy Apple products, and you have the Mac but you won't never go near the phone.
I wouldn't mind an iPhone 10 and I have said that before, but that doesn't matter. That's another topic altogether. Go on, talk about faith.
You sicken me. But anyway, yeah, like even in the comments people are like, you know, Apple fanboys will like just jump on Apple products no matter what. It doesn't matter about the problems.
Apple can literally spit in your face and fanboys will be like, give me that.
Their perception is that they have faith in the company.
Yeah.
But that, to me, that's not faith. That's nearly like manipulation. Like you've been manipulated to think that Apple is the way forward and that it's the way it's going to be. Now, don't get me wrong. up until a certain point, Apple were the kings when it came to technology.
Up until about the iPhone 4, iPhone
No,
5.
I'd argue when they hit the 7, I think that's when they started going downhill, because they started bringing the trend of not having a headphone jack.
Look,
Then a lot of Android devices started taking out the Android
we're gone off
or
topic.
the headphone
Right.
port, whatever.
But all I'll say before we get back on topic is I have always rejected iPhones on the simple answer that they were a waste of money. They were not worth the money you had to pay for when you could get a phone for a third of the price on the Android side that's just as good. And for years I was laughed at for it. Right? But now, it's now the people realise it. The reason I'd go buy an iPhone now is because they're the same price as a Samsung.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get much in the difference in specs, screen size, anything like that. So it's like the same thing, just with a different brand.
Yeah.
But I like to broaden my tech horizons. I like to learn new OS, new operating systems, all that crack, like, right? But that's why I said I'd go buy an iPhone 10, because if I'm going to go buy the S9, it's the same price. It doesn't matter. Whereas, go back 7-8 years ago, the iPhone 4 is €600, but an LG is €200. It's just as good, like. But no one sees it that way, because they're going, oh my god, Apple is doing this shit, all glass phone, what? But like, that was my whole thing. But that's,
no, I agree with you.
That's just, it doesn't matter, because the more you talk about this, the longer the conversation will go on about it.
Basically, just what I was trying to say is that, like, it's people who think they've faith in the product and it's not faith, and they just end up being indoctrinated into it, and they think that this is the only product for them.
Yeah.
That's like, it's kind of like a cult, but not an actual cult.
Yeah,
where they
not
think,
classified
where
as
they
it,
think
like,
they believe in the systems, but they've just been brainwashed so much
think.
that they think this is the only way.
Yeah.
It's like the whole Scientology thing. Like, even one of the founders of Scientology was kicked out by his son, who now runs it.
Yeah.
Apparently, because he, like, kind of like was going, I don't think this is the way we should be going, and then the son was like, well, you're either with us or you're against us, and that's it. And that's their belief.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, like, again, just to bring it back to, like, Apple, a lot of people that are Apple fanboys, they think that it's Apple or nothing.
Yeah.
They'll have every Apple product and one going near an Android one, because it doesn't have the little half-eaten Apple symbol on it. Like.
Yeah.
But what that kind of brought me into is, like, that's kind of like the modern way of how faith has kind of started dissipating. But it, like, because for a long time, faith was a big part of people's lives, or what they thought was faith.
Yeah.
Especially in Ireland. Like, up until the last 20 years, I'd say, the church still had a massive
hold on people here.
No, they do still, to an extent. And, like, I'm not dispelling people's beliefs. Like,
no, like,
everyone isn't.
You believe whatever you believe. You can have faith in whatever you want to have faith in. We're not here to piss. I'm actually going to talk about this because I couldn't do it in the last podcast, right? So for anyone that does watch these kind of on a regular enough basis, in podcast 16, which was our very fancy one with the 3 camera angles, right? We talked about vegans and veganism, right? Now, I got a little bit of heat for it. And I just want to say that when I said the whole ponces or nonces, it wasn't directed at every single vegan. It was only directed at the more extreme vegans. You know, the ones that, you know, just give you hassle because you eat a burger or whatever. Like.
Yeah, to bash people because
they're not a vegan. Yeah, because we don't believe what they believe in. And you, like, you know, I only brought the topic up to talk about it, to learn, basically. But it's neither here nor there. Like, but we don't make these podcasts and go, how can we piss off 40 people today? Like,
if we did make them like that, they'd be way worse.
Yeah. Or they'd be way more successful.
But, like, yeah, again, to be honest, it's just the topic to me more than anything. I keep on bringing it back to, like, products and brands and stuff now, because, like, that's the way it's gone forward now. Because it's almost like when... Yeah, to reiterate what I was going to say there before you were on about that. What I'm saying is it's not that I give out to people about having a belief. That's not my thing. I don't appreciate where a lot of religious institutes come from, where like they come from a place of like absolute faith, and then they end up being corrupted.
And
I'm not saying it's
capitalise on it, like,
I'm not saying it's the Catholic Church alone, because every church is like that.
yeah.
You know, there is corruption everywhere, in government, in religious institutes, wherever you go. Like, there is some form of corruption, because people are people. You know, there's no one that's absolutely good and absolutely evil. Like, it's a big grey
There's a
mixed
lot of grey
bag.
area.
Like. But like, I feel like when people started to stray from the church in Ireland, when they kind of like woke up to the atrocities that had been happening for years, or not even woke up, but like kind of it was made more public.
Yeah.
I think people, while stepping away from institutes like a church, they also stepped away from their beliefs, like in a god or in whatever like cosmos you think is out there, but they kind of like transpose that from a god to the brand, or to the marketing, or to whatever like kind of drives you in life. I think like the modern day version of it now for younger generations coming up is the phenomena of YouTube and branding on YouTube, where you have like ad revenue coming through, where you have merch coming through. Like, I'm not saying I don't fall to that either, because I have a couple of YouTube merch myself, because I follow some YouTubers that I really like. I like their personalities, I like what they talk about, because they feel real to me, right? But then you have the other aspect of it, where it was talked about in the last part of the Shane Dawson.
Yeah, I have like half an hour left on that.
Basically, he talks about at one stage about the
merch and how
constant, like,
who was it? Some channel done the breakdown of a 13.5 minute video of Jake Paul or something. 7 minutes or 6.5 minutes of it or something is
over
all
7 minutes was
merch.
Yeah, it was just advertising essentially for his own brand.
Yeah,
and like Shane, to be fair to him, was kind of condemning Jake, not really, but kind of going like, do you see where people are coming from, where they think you're pushing it on small kids and stuff? And to be fair to Jake, he kind of stood up. Like, most other people were probably like, yeah, I do see where you come from. And for a lot of that part of the documentary, Jake was like, I do see where people are coming from. He did kind of stand up and go, no, I don't think it is, because he was like,
I'm just saying it, I'm not making him go do it. Like,
yeah, he was literally like, he even gave the example, because him and his brother made a YouTube channel like years ago when they were still living at home, when they were teenagers themselves, and he was like, we made merch even then, like, and we were only kids, and he was like, that was just something I always did. It was like, it's not trying to force people to do it. He was like, this is just what I've done all the time. And to be fair, I kind of had to stand back and go like, yeah, fair enough. Like, you know, if this is what you do the whole time, it's not just because you're there like, I need the money from the merch and all that. It was literally just like, that was the thing he taught to do.
I've seen that, and his most valid point I took from it was, he said that if people enjoy watching my videos and they buy a t-shirt, when they wear that t-shirt, it reminds them of the videos that they enjoy watching of mine that make them happy. Yeah. So he said they're essentially buying it to remind themselves to be happy, and he said that's what I'm wanting. That's why I promote it so much, because I want people to feel when they wear it, like. Yeah. And I genuinely was like, that's a solid argument. Like, that's a solid answer.
Oh yeah, no, and I give him credit for that. But that just kind of got me thinking about the whole, like, it's almost like he's wanting his viewers to have faith in him, to be like, look, no matter how bad you feel, I'll, like, at least you'll come here for 10 minutes of your day or whatever, like, during the vlog.
I forget about it, like.
Hopefully it'll make you, like, if you're having a bad day, it'll make you feel better by watching me, and you'll be happier and all that. And that's a kind of a good positive like attitude to have towards it. But like, I'm trying to keep on coming back, because it to me it seems to be like
fucking ringing in your head, like, isn't
it?
it
just keeps it, to me it's like a circle of like, if you lose faith in one thing, you have to, like, because we're emotional creatures, we have to find something else to believe in as we go along. Like, even if you fall out of, like,
I want to know, right, I'm going to interrupt you now, because this kind of hits home for me a little bit in a sense, like, so, like, the whole, we talked about the church and religion and stuff, and the whole faith in God and stuff, which would be classed as essentially blind faith. In my mind, Because, like, how many people have encounters with the man upstairs, like, on a daily basis to talk about it, like...
Does anyone?
There you go.
That's
But that's
another-
blind faith, like, in my opinion,
Yeah.
right? But, like, I'm not an overly religious person. I've never really been an overly religious person. And, like, I don't go to mass every Sunday or whenever it's on. Like, I go to mass when I need to go.
Did
to
you want
mass.
credit to people that do that?
No, yeah, 100%. Like, and I'm not trying to say this and stuff. It's a question I have for as a general, just to squash my curiosity and stuff. So, you know when I'll make it dark. You know when you're at a funeral, right? And whoever has passed, and you're there, and there's people coming up and they're giving you their condolences and stuff, and you always get one or two people that go, "It's all part of the plan," right?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that about? And, like, again, I don't want to squash anyone's beliefs or stand on anyone's toes, but if there is any hardcore churchgoers watching this, like, what can you try and enlighten me a little bit on what that is? Because when you lose someone that, you know, is in your family or you love or whatever, and you get some person come up to you and go, "It's all part of the plan," like, that's not you can't say that to people. But I want to know, what I really want to know is, what does that mean? Does that mean have faith?
I've never heard of God's plan, not the Drake song, but have you heard of God's plan? This is like the whole thing of everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like everything happens for a reason, but a lot of it's unjust. Like, or no, hang on now. If trying to, hang on now, I'm gonna trip myself up.
Derek, look, I get what you're saying, and it's basically like, you're basically saying if there is a God and he has a plan, why is there a lot of suffering that happens to a lot of people?
Yeah.
If it's part of a plan, and if he's meant to be a morally just God.
Yeah, why?
The problem is, most people that believe in God, like, devoutly, are the people that will say that, like, there's good and bad in the world. It's not for God created the world, but it's not for him to determine what, like, is meant to be good and what is meant to be bad. It's just meant to happen, essentially.
Yeah, no,
But so I think it's their way of helping. It's coming from a place of love, I think, where they say this to you, because they're there, like, you'll feel sad about it now, but you'll come to understand that this happens, and, like, we learn to move on. And
yeah, no, I do.
that type of.
I understand all that and everything, and I've played it over in my head a lot, like, but it always kind of rings around in my head is when people say stuff like that. When people go, "It's all part of the plan," or you know, all that kind of crack. Like, I want to know what's that about, though. You get me? Like, but, like, I don't know the answer because I'm not a religious person, so I don't have faith in the big man, like.
Yeah.
Like, some people do, and again, I'm not diminishing anyone's faith. Like, I want to know. I want someone that is religious to tell me this is what it's about. Do you get me? Like, that doesn't make sense, does it?
No, not really, because you've just asked the same question. I feel like I've answered it, but then you're just there like, yeah, but what does it mean?
Yeah, but what does it mean, though? Like,
I suppose it's...
You're supposed to just have blind faith in it, aren't you? Like,
yeah.
Someone wasted us for no reason. You're supposed to just go, "Okay, fair enough. It's part of the man upstairs."
Technically, if you want to be technical about it, it's not that someone dies for no reason. Something happened that led to the death. Whether an accident, whether it was malicious, whether it was, like, cancer, whether it was, you know, like...
Yeah, no, yeah.
There's obviously something that causes death.
Yeah.
You're asking, but if there is a plan, why was that put in the plan?
Yeah.
Is that essentially what you're asking?
Yeah.
And what's the justification for that being in the plan?
Yeah.
Again, I think it's the whole...
Wait and find out, like...
No, I think it's, like... It all happens for a reason, so you should just trust in God. You will hurt, you will suffer, but you will have good days as well. And it's all about a balancing act. But I think that kind of stems... Like, because every like... what's the word? Any like monolith version of a god, because you'd have all beliefs where there's numerous gods, not just the one entity.
Yeah.
That's kind of a recent enough belief system where there's one god. Well, okay, maybe not really, because the Islamic faith is that there is one god as well, and that's thousands of years old. But like, I think the whole belief of like what pagans believe in, I think that's just I think that's just a term that you put on to people that are just a bit hippie, to be honest, personally.
Right.
But like the whole thing of like, like Mother Nature, like, that the earth is nearly our god because it's the one that sustains us and keeps us going, and like there's a recycling of things, like you eat fruit or you eat an animal that goes through your body, the nutrient, like the good stuff stays in your body to be recycled through it. Out, then like your waste is like the stuff that you don't need in your body, but once that gets like that's in the ground, that's used, whatever stuff that your body can't use can be used as manure. So like it basically feeds back into the plants and stuff that are growing into the ground again, and so recycling of that. Any bodies that decay are either eaten by other animals or to get like any decomposing in that goes back into the ground as well, and it's a whole cycle as well. And I think that's what a lot of people with faith interpret when it comes to a god.
Okay.
I just think that like we're all like obviously we're all down to the atom, like, or down to your like protons and electrons, and there's even smaller parts of you that like bundle up, and that makes you, and that makes like that duvet, makes that floor, like like it's all these like small little things that are like interconnected but completely different at the same time. The problem is with the likes of humans, because we're so, for lack of a better phrase, intellectually superior to everything else that's been on this earth. We've dramatically escalated things that could have naturally happened, especially in the last like 200 years, with terms of like industrialization and use of modern technology, modern transport, the burning of fossil fuels. Like, we're not feeding back into the cycle enough.
I get you.
We're taking more out of it than we're putting back in, and that's why there is a big push for renewables resources. It's kind of nearly feed back into the vegan belief of that, like, we have to be conservative and we have to try and recycle as much as we can. We have to be gentle to the earth as much as we can, otherwise we're going to ruin it on ourselves and everything else that lives on the earth and that inhabits it. And I think people that have an actual faith in a religion or a particular god or numerous gods, I think their interpretations of what that type of vibe is with the world, I think this is my, not belief, but this is my interpretation of it, that basically everything is there to be used, but it has to be reused and it has to be recycled, or else, because if you burn out too quick, then it's gonna fail. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, fossil fuels were stuff that were like years and years, like technically fossil fuels were dinosaurs. Like, if you look at it down to that type of level, so you're kind of nearly reusing them, but because we're burning them, they go up into the atmosphere, and then that's it. Like, you can't reuse what you've used, whereas with like the likes of air and water, you can recycle that and it can be used again.
Yeah.
Do you know? I think faith should be put into keeping ourselves sustainable.
Yeah.
We talked about that before as well, I think in private, about sustainability and all that. Remember I mentioned to you before?
Yeah.
Trying to come up with like the definition of it.
That was Saturday night.
Yeah, we were like, unless we're jumping ship and humans end up going to a different planet, we have to learn how to be sustainable.
Yeah.
And we kind of have to have to me, it's kind of, this is why I brought up, we need to have faith in ourselves, and we need to have faith
in humanity to fix what we fucked.
Like, if you don't, even if all of us not all. If a lot of us start to not believe in a God, we kind of have to believe in like
Something.
not even something, but just kind of like we have to believe in. If you don't believe in a bigger scheme of things after you die, believe in you're here now. Don't try and fuck it up as much as you can because you might ruin it for everyone else. Type of thing. Basically, like play school type of thing of play nice, because it might not work out for you either.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's why I wanted to bring it up, just to kind of talk about it that way, and how like again it happens in a modern world where there's different types of beliefs and faiths that you have with different things. Like, you know, I have a faith in you that like you'll still be my friend tomorrow, like that type of thing. Like, you kind of have to have faith with other people.
Faith in other people, isn't it? Yeah.
Bit deep of the topic, but I just wanted to bring it up. I wanted to get your vibe off it as well.
Yeah.
What time are we at?
26.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that then.
Yeah. And sure we'll...
Bit deep, but thanks very much for watching. If you're here this long.
Yeah. And
we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye.